Okay, so this is all in the state of Oklahoma. Uh, Let me drill in here a little bit and explain what the PLSS system is. It's the Public Land Survey System. You're seeing it right here. The square right here is a 36 square miles. You can see here's one of the sections. A section is 1 square mile. So let's see if we got that. We're still in the square. If we don't want the township, which is the square you see right here, but we want to get a section within that. See, this is section 8, 637. It's roughly 640 is 1 square mile, but this one is a little less for some reason. But you can see that the notation is 15 north, which is this is 15, this is 16, etc. And 11 west, which is, okay, this is 10. You can see this is 11, this is 12, etc. And then the section within that. So this first part, a township range, it shows the big square. The section is within that. Anyway, so if you are in the oil business and your geologist tells you that the oil is in this section right here, then you need to find out who is the owner of that. Okay, it can be simple. It could be a lot more difficult. Like if there are grandchildren and then the missing cousin, etc., etc. For generations, it can get complicated. So you need to, well, it can be difficult. It's a lot better if you have a list already so you can get in touch. As soon as your geologist tells you that that's where it is, then you can get in. If you can get in touch with them faster than the other guy, then you can get it quicker, and you can get that whole small square there, and then you can get a bunch of those together and get the whole big square. That's the name of the game, is to get the big square, because what they're doing is horizontal drilling, so they can drill it right here, and then the drill bit can be drilled over here or directed over there. So it's very valuable to have that list of people faster than the other guy. Okay, so we know what that is. I'm just going to take one of them here. Now, these are guys that just happened, like all these dots you see they're transactions that were done by the guys that I used to work with, Lynn included. Lynn and Luke they're in boom slaying. Then we got picked out XP2, which is really Dusty Browning and Jeff Browning, or we call them the Bearded Brothers, or the Metrics team, same guys. You can see that I have it actually backwards here. It's actually Cindy Scott 2 XP2. You can see that on the Grand Tour and Grand T though. That's the latitude, longitude. There's the transaction that they did. As you can see, it's for a single section. Well, no, I'm sorry. It's a quarter of a section. The northwest quarter of section 24, township 15 north, range 13 west. You can see it's 160, which is a quarter of 640. So that's a quarter section. This was done on 3/10/2017. There's a bunch of them though. Okay. So anyway, how do you get in touch with Cindy Scott? How do you know to holler at Cindy Scott? Okay. And everybody else that you sent. Well, here's what we did. Here's what I did. Okay. So on the Oklahoma Corporation Commission, OCC, that's the website address. It's the Corporation Commission in Oklahoma. They handle all the oil stuff. So everything goes through them. And then on that website, if you put in CD, that stands for Conservation Docket, which is all this stuff you're seeing right here. Location exception, increased density, spacing order, pooling order, But any of them follow the same format. I'm gonna pick spacing. That one's just a random one. Okay, so on the top of the document, you got legal description. Then you can see that it's the north half of the northeast quarter of section 31, township 29 north, range 12 west, etc. Okay, so that's the location. That's that square we were just looking at over there. And at the bottom of it, it doesn't matter whatever they're putting in the middle of it. I don't care if it's a pooling order or a spacing order or a whatever. As long as it's on that conservation docket, it's got to follow this format. Okay, so the second part of that is the Exhibit A. That's the respondent list. That's the people that are required to be notified. Those are all the people with an interest in that square. Okay, you can see it right there at the north half of the northeast quarter of section 31, township 29 north, blah, blah. So that's the list of people, and that's the place that they go to. Okay, so that's what the program does, is it gathers these things up like it can churn through 500,000 of them, not a problem, in a few seconds, basically, if you're running it up on a Microsoft server. Anyway, that's not a problem. So, okay. So here's the model that I came up with. And by the way, let me introduce that. I will say I'm making a voluntary statement right here. Everything that I'm saying right here, I will say in front of an FBI agent and certify it under penalty of being like Martha Stewart. Okay, so this is all, I'll put me in jail if I'm lying about anything here. See if, and compare that to my opponents on the same subject matter. Okay, so these people that I'm mentioning here, why don't y'all go holler at them and see if they'll do the same thing? And they're not going to, I predict, because they know. Anyway, I digress. So here's the model. Where did I put the model up here? I think it's right there. Yes. Okay. So there's the model. This is the overall model. I've just included the three main things right here, and you can see that represented over here. You can see it right here. So the overall, this whole page is right here, a web page. So it's got certain properties, and it contains a bunch of documents, which you can see right here. Like all these documents is that right there. One of those documents is right here. So, and then within one document, I'm just going to pick another one. Let's get whatever that one is. They're all the same format, so it doesn't matter. This one is section 27 north. Within that document, Exhibit A, like I said, you have all the well, they're not just contacts, they're contacts and locations, because one guy, this guy right here, can change his address next week and it will be another. So it's the intersection, it's a contact and a location. And by the same token, this address right here might have somebody else next week. So that's why it's the contact location. Okay, so that's why I call it that. Anyway, that's that right there. So contact location has stuff like city, state, zip, the address, contact name, blah, blah. Okay. So on a document, that's where well, not all of it, but most of it. Most of the logic is in this document class. And you see that these are the properties, just the state, like say that the thing starts on line 44. Okay, so that's what that is. That's the property of the object, of the instance of the object. But anyway, the logic is in here in these methods. These are functions. Execute. I got it. We're about to go take a look at that, and this is something they won't be able to do. By the way, that's what the whole Echo Challenge number 2 is. This whole thing is Echo Challenge number 2. And I'll have a link to that or something. But anyway, you can see I got Exhibit A. That's where I find out where Exhibit A, that line, where it starts. Get legal, I'll show you in a second. Gets the legal description off the top, and puts the township range section, and then get contacts that will go and fish out all the. I mean, that's where the crown jewels are right there. I'm not going to show you how. I'm thinking about open sourcing the whole thing because it doesn't matter. Uh, plus it's kind of a resume enhancement, showing that these guys, I wrote that program. I mean, that's what I'm demonstrating right here. Anyway, is CSZ, it's that city state zip. I go in there. What I do is I rip through here, through this whole list, and I find these little things right here, these city state zips. I'll find the lines that those are on. Like this one, that might be line 436. That might be 440. But I make a list of those. Okay. So that's the first thing that I'm doing, is getting a list of where these are. And then once I've had, I run back through that same list, the second step in the process, and I say, okay, that's the city, state, and zip. Okay. Then I back up one and I say, that's the street address. Then I back up one and say, that's the name. And if it's 4, then it'll back up again and say, let's pick this one right here. It'll go, that's the city, state, zip. That's the address. Actually, this one would go wrong. It would say, it would call, well, no, I'm sorry. This would do right. It would do exactly right, because I would give a 3 lines for the name. Anyway, here's how that happens over there, is right here. And this is what they don't have. They're not going to be able to produce something that was, this is all up in Azure DevOps. Microsoft is not letting me forge this, and I'm certifying that this is true under penalty of going to prison. Okay, so this was written January 28th, 2016, as you can see. Well, this is back earlier. I mean, that's kind of like, it works like this, but then I changed it over, and I'll show you all that in a second, but I'll just show you. This thing works right here. This was working, but I have all the change sets, and you can see over here that red is me deleting something and green is me adding something. So I can trace these going back. I can show you the dates that all this stuff happened, etc. Okay. So I don't know what I was doing on that day, whatever. But here the model ended up being like this right here. This is on 5/18 of 2016. Okay. So, and this is only what I changed, but let's just take a peek in here at some of this. We were talking about get contacts earlier. Like, this is what fishes that out. I'm saying, I'm getting the text out of the, well, hold on a sec. Let me look and see. I'm just kind of winging it here. But yeah, okay, that's where the crown jewels are. But let me go up here. And over here, it's a lot more. Like, I'll show that to you in a second. But this is just what got changed right here. Like, that's the only thing. I mean, that's why it's only one class right there. Let's see. I probably need to speed this up a little bit. Oh, let me just go to browse files there. So that'll show you all the stuff that was there. Okay, all that stuff is in core. You can see I have my logic separated. The document logic is right there. Contact location and web page. Those are the 3 classes we were just looking at over here. This is the logic part of them. The entities are just like they're held in, like, this is just the, it says model, but this is just the state. Like, let's take a look. These are the properties. This is not the logic. You can see that date string, document status, source URL, etc., stuff like that. Okay, so anyway, that was a demonstration of, and I'll talk to anybody about this code. Like, we can go through it. I'm going to put it out there and I'll submit it to the FBI, no problem. This was all written by me. This is something that they're not going to be able to produce, by the way. That's Echo Challenge number 2. They can't just go and create something back in 2016 that they didn't do. Okay, because I did it. And okay, so I'm going to, do I need to leave it there? I will. Well, no, let me add on a little bit. Okay, so I did some analysis here. This is cool. These are the text messages, like the red vertical bars. That's also that's number one in the Echo Challenge. The emails and text, but they can't produce any. This is all me right here. This is me and Lynn talking right here. You can see we were really. This is the day I thought we were sending it out the door. Like Lynn, I mean, we were sending it out the door that day. 3:28. We talked 85 messages. Anyway, what they did is they just used it and didn't tell me that they were using it. So you can see we just diminished down here to 0. Me and Linda stopped talking. There's a cover story that's developed that is all in North Dakota. Anyway, so this is Lynn and Luke. Boomslang is a brand new company that Lynn's partner, they set up. But check out, now me and Lynn stopped talking, except for Lynn stopped talking synchronously. Like we didn't have any phone conversations. You stopped doing text messages. You can see this, the red one here. Let me see if I can make that bigger. My apologies, but you can see there's one text, and then Lynn does his right here, by the way. He's the missing part. But the point that I'm making is that he's just testing me out to see if I'm checking. You know, you can see it jumps up. You just look at this, how it generally goes up, and then once we start talking again, then it slows down. You can see that, and then it goes back up. But let's go look at another one that I'm gonna call this long point. Okay, I'm just gonna say, and it's not blank. Blah blah. So let's run that. This was fantastic. Let me. This is the larger report. I'm going to make it. Well, you can see that all of their stuff that is just got plugged. So all of their stuff came through Timberwolf. Anyway, we'll talk about that later. But this is the part that I'm talking about. Notice how right after Lynn checks in with me and says something meaningless like, hey, are we still going to do this? Like, I've been waiting for him for a year at this point. I mean, no, not a year, but a few months. Like, I've been waiting for this. And he says, are we going to do this? Of course. I mean, it's just like, but he wasn't trying to find out. He was just trying to find out if I was checking my email. And when I didn't, pardon me, go Air Force. When he found out that I wasn't checking, then that's when they do 40 transactions the next day. What a coincidence. See, and then again, right here, let's send some garbage. And the next day, up like that. Same right there, up. Then you can see they generally slow down when they're talking to. Anyway, this company right here, this is no small company. This is a company that just got funded with well, there's Long Point and Long Point 2, and when you add them together, they are funded with about $1.6 billion. The first 500 million comes through on that day right there. Wait, no, I'm sorry. Yeah, right around there. Right around is 518, I believe, which is, I mean, look at that. There's a coincidence. Look at this coincidence. I knew that hang on a sec. Give me a sec. This one. That one was done May 16th, May 8th. That's where we're talking about. Like, what a coincidence that this company just comes out of nowhere, gets funded with $500 million on the same day Lynn stops talking to me. Okay. And what are the chances that it just jumps up like 40 transactions? And, anyway, these guys can't. Well, Will has told me, the chief operating officer, I think, something like that. Or wait, no, I don't know what his title is. It doesn't matter. He's the guy that should know. He told me that they had an internal person to do this. They didn't sub this out to somebody. So that means that they have payroll records And even if they don't want to, like, show me how they did it. They can tell me what the guy's name is so I can go research and see what I want to go check out his Git page, which is like this. It's like this stuff right here. It's just a thing called GitHub. He should have one. I got one. But anyway, just tell me the guy's name. I should be able to just go check him out. But that's the third on the Echo Challenge. So the first one is they can't produce any emails. Here's my emails. I can show them. The second one is the stuff that I was just showing you right here, where they can't show me stuff that was written back in the past that'll do the same thing they're talking about. Okay. They can't show me, and they can't show me where they paid cash for it either. So it's as if it just came down from the sky. That's what it's like. Okay. So but the truth of the matter is that it all came from this right here. That's what I'm saying. I mean, that's my assertion, and they can't respond to it because it's true. Anyway, so I'm gonna leave it right there. Hopefully this worked out, and thank y'all for sticking with me there. All right, talk to you later.